Let's begin with the why. Harsha, why was this a surprise that Mr. Modi won so big?
Well, Tom, this is a spectacular victory. It doesn't come as a surprise because most exit polls were indicating that the BJP and the NDA, and Prime Minister Modi's party, is going to win. But the magnitude of this victory was perhaps a bit underestimated. Just look at the numbers. They're closing in. The BJP on its own is closing in on nearly 300 seats in Parliament. All you need is 272 to form government. The NDA will be comfortably above that mark. With this victory, Prime Minister Modi reasserts himself as the most dominant politician in this part of the world, and not only that, the most popular one as well. In these elections, his appeal has expanded, cutting across caste and community lines. Young voters, women voters, they've all spoken loudly and clearly that they want Prime Minister Modi back at the helm.
With the complexities of India, with this vote back to 1984 and even the history back to 1947, how will this play with the minorities of India, the economic minorities, the religious minorities of India? How will this dominance of his Hindu-centric approach, how will that play?
I have grown up in an India that's always celebrated diversity and pluralism, Tom. In the last 5 years, ever since Prime Minister Modi and the BJP came into office, that idea of secularism and plurality was, in a sense, replaced by an aggressive brand of religious nationalism. And the fear that, that you're talking about is exactly what was the major concern here. Listen, I think in the history of countries, this verdict, and as massive as this one, clearly indicates that there's a fundamental shift that's taking place in the politics of this country and what people of this country want as the primary ruler. Yes, you're right. The concerns for religious minorities will persist, but Prime Minister Modi just tweeted that he hopes for that together he will build a strong and inclusive India. So let's wait and watch for the next 5 years.
Harsha, what will the next 5 years, how will they determine actually how Mr. Modi uses a space, a political space that you're talking about? Will India be the next China? We have in our live blog, one of the questions being asked is actually this election result could be opening up the possibility of muscular policy from the Reserve Bank.
Francine, the earlier part of the question is important. While this has been a strong verdict in favor of Mr. Modi, it's also decimated the Congress party, the principal opposition party under Rahul Gandhi, and that's not good news. A weak opposition, you tend to get authoritarian governments, and that's a fear. The economic challenges that the new government faces are well known. There is a farm crisis on hand that needs to be dealt with. There is a serious jobless growth that needs to be dealt with. India needs to be creating far more jobs than it actually creates. And we're also facing the prospect of slowing economy. So the government has its task cut out in fixing all of these. In the pursuit of growth, the fear would then be if the economic minorities and if religious minorities' concerns are also equally heard. That's the concern and that's the fear. It will be up to the government of the day to figure out how they address these concerns and takes everyone forward. It's the tagline for this government has been Sabka Haath, Sabka Vikas, as in they'll take everyone along, but it remains to be seen.